Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today I'm going to make a reverse dyed geode shirt. I have the shirt turned inside out and I'm using a navy blue Gildan Ultra Cotton t-shirt. I'm finding a place on the shirt where I'd like for the center of the geode to be, pinching that area, and I'm only grabbing one layer of fabric. I'm not tying both the front and the back side at the same time. Then I'm going to slide my hand down to where I want the bottom of the geode to be, and that's where I'm going to start tying. I'm going to tie my sinew lines going out toward the center of the geode. I find that I get more of a natural looking geode when I do that. It looks a lot less like a bullseye. I'm also going to vary the distance between the lines on each of the geodes and the size of each geode. As I get closer down toward the center of the geode, I'm going to mess with that fabric a little bit, push it in a few areas, and basically try to messy that area up. I don't want the very center of the geode to be perfectly circular, and I don't mind if it kind of folds in upon itself. That gives kind of a cool design. By the way, this is still my sinew where one strand of it was cut, so I'm having to kind of untangle that one strand away from the rest of the sinew periodically throughout the tying process. I'm going to go ahead and speed up the rest of the tying process, but if you would like to watch it slower, or if you ever are watching a video that you would like to either speed up or slow down, when you're watching a video on YouTube, if you look in the lower right corner of the video, there is a settings sprocket. If you click on that settings sprocket, you will see an option called playback speed. When you click into playback speed, you can either speed up or slow down the video. It will speed up and slow down the audio as well, but it will at least allow you to watch the video at a speed that maybe you're more comfortable with. After I wrap the last geode that will fit on the shirt, I'm going to wrap the sinew back down to the base of that geode, and then that area in between all of the geodes where the geodes meet, I'm going to wrap some sinew lines in that area. It will kind of help flatten out the design a little bit and make it easier to add the dye to, and it's going to add a few lines in the rest of the geode shirt, which are just cool definition lines. For the color removal process, I'm going to use a product called Brite Laundry Whitener, and I purchased mine at my local Walmart in the laundry aisle. However, if you can't find any at your local Walmart or a store near you, I have a link down below in the description for where you can purchase some from Amazon. I'm removing the color from a whole bunch of shirts all at the same time. So I'm placing the shirts into a plastic container that I've placed outside. I prefer to use this product outside because it does have a smell and I really don't want the smell inside. I also wear my respirator for the entire process because I don't want to inhale any of the fumes or the powder. I'm going to start by sprinkling out Brite over the top of all of the shirts. And then I'm going to pour boiling hot water over the top. As soon as the hot water hits the out Brite begins to bubble and foam and immediately remove the color. I've sped the video up, but I left the shirts in the out Brite for about 10 minutes. I came back in a few minutes and added some more out Brite to the top of the shirts and some more boiling hot water. I wanted to make sure that the shirts were fully submerged. After about 10 minutes, I came back and took all the shirts into my utility sink, rinsed them in cold water, and put them into my washing machine and washed them using a hot water cycle along with a little bit of Dharma's Textile detergent. Then I put the shirts into my soda ash solution and allowed them to soak for at least 20 to 30 minutes before I wrung them out of my Panda spin dryer. By the way, I left the shirts tied the entire time. I know I've mentioned it before, but shirts like this that have been reverse dyed or anything that has been previously dyed can leak out some dye into the soda ash. So I have a special container that I use for shirts like this, but if you don't, that's fine. I would just pull some of my original soda ash solution out, soak those shirts, and then discard it. I wouldn't put my shirts into my main soda ash container. Okay, so before I go ahead and start applying the dye, I need to make myself some sort of an ice barrier to go around the shirt and hold the dye and the ice on top of the shirt. So for that, I'm going to use some silicone cake molds. I have a link down below in the description for where I purchased the cake molds. I'm going to attach the cake molds together, and then to hold them up close to the shirt, I'm going to attach some wooden clothespins to the metal rack. These cake molds are great for shirts like this because you can form them around the really unusual shapes of geodes. Then after you're finished dyeing the shirt, you can just wash the cake molds in a little bit of soapy water and reuse them over and over again. For this shirt, I wanted to use some orange, red, and brown on the shirt. I thought that those colors would look really good with the navy blue lines that should be left on my geode. So I started pulling colors and putting them together, and before I realized it, I had a whole lot of colors pulled. I considered trying to scale back and just use a few less colors, but there's a whole lot of different sections on this geode, so I decided to just use them all. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to randomly place the colors on the geode. I'm going to put one color in each section, and even though I've pulled a whole bunch of colors, I'm still going to have to repeat the colors on several different sections of the shirt. I'm going to list the colors that I used, but I also have them listed down below in the description for this video. I'm using deep orange, citrus got real, pagoda red, cardinal red, oxblood red, Brazil nut, bronze, golden brown, terracotta, and ecru. Those are all the Dharma colors that I'm using. Then I'm using pumpkin spice, mocha, khaki, barn red, camel, harvest wheat, hot chocolate, and golden oak from Pro Chemical and Dye. In general, most of the brown colors give really good color splits, so I wanted to include quite a few of these on the shirt just to see what would happen. I'm going to add some additional soda ash over the top of the dye and then add on a layer of ice. Once I get the ice on the shirt, I'm going to add some ecru from Dharma over the top of all the ice. The ecru doesn't add a whole lot of color, but it kind of fills in some of the gaps and gives a little extra dimension to the geode shirts that I make. I came back after the first layer of ice melted and added a second layer of ice. Then after the second layer of ice melted, I went ahead and added a third layer of ice because there was still a little bit of undissolved dye left sitting on top of the shirt. I also was getting ready to leave town and knew that I wasn't going to be able to rinse the shirt out anytime soon. So after the third layer of ice melted, the shirt sat for about 5 or 6 days before I began rinsing it. Here's what the shirt looked like right before I began rinsing it. I started rinsing in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. And then I untied the shirt and warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing until the water was almost clear. Because the colors that I used on this shirt were so dark, and because it had been sitting for so many days, I went ahead and just soaked the shirt in some hot water with a little bit of Dawn dish detergent. When the water cooled off, I changed it out and continued the soaking process until the water was almost clear. Then I put the shirt into my washing machine with some Dharma's Textile detergent and washed it using a hot water cycle. After the shirt was washed and dried, this is what it looks like. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one turned out really cool. You know, I'm normally not a fan of orange, but I think it looks really good on this shirt. I also really like the navy blue. I think the navy blue lines in the shirt add a whole lot of interest to this geode. I like the pop of red on the back in the center of that one geode. And then I think the red and the orange work really well with all the other colors that I added to the shirt. Like I said, the browns normally don't disappoint. They have a whole lot of really cool color splits. So there's green in this shirt, obviously red and orange, just a variety of colors. I think it adds a lot of interest to the shirt. There's a lot of cool things to look at when you look at this shirt. I'm also really happy with the shape of the geodes. Do you remember how I was talking about messing up the very end or the center of the geode and kind of pushing part of the fabric down inside and then tying it with sinew? That gives the very center of all of these geodes a more interesting look. None of them are actually just plain circles. And I think that's good. I think it makes it look more natural because very rarely are things ever perfect in nature. I also think this was kind of fun just to use a whole bunch of different colors on a shirt to see what happened. And I'm really happy with it. My favorite geode on the whole entire shirt is the one on the very back with the red center. Red is one of my favorite colors, and I think it looks really cool when it's paired with like the orange flowing into the green colors. That one really pops out and catches my eye. And I'm really happy with the color saturation. I don't have any large areas of shirt color, or I would say white, but the shirt didn't start out white. I don't have any large areas of taupe left on the shirt. So overall, I'm really happy with the shirt. I think it looks really pretty. If you all have enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.